Hey, good morning, Aurora.
Good
Hi,
morning,
everyone.
Aurora. Yes. Hello.
Welcome back to Aurora Health Hustle, and this is October Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And today's episode is going to be one that hits really close to home. We know breast cancer touches so many lives, and why this month we're bringing real stories, real conversations, and real lessons for everyone. We want to have early detection, we want to advocate for ourselves, and we want to have hope. And today, I'm so happy that we have such an incredible guest with us, Ms. Starr Pirela, a woman whose strength and courage have not only carried her through her own breast cancer diagnosis, but how it will inspire so many others. So welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Girl, yes. So we're just gonna get right into it, and we're gonna start from the very beginning. Can you take us back to the moment you found out that you had breast cancer? Tell us more about the diagnosis and what happened at that time for you.
Okay, so when I turned 40 in 2020, my doctor said, okay, you're 40, you have to get your mammogram. So I reluctantly went and got a mammogram. I didn't want to. Heard it was painful. It's kind of a little bit of an intimate moment, you know? So in November of 2020, I got a mammogram, my first mammogram. And it wasn't as bad as I thought. It was a little painful, but it was kind of quick, easy. The nurse came in. She gave me the thumbs up. Hey, you're clear. You're good to go. And I was like, ooh, thank God. And I left, and I was like, oh, that wasn't as bad. I was putting it off for so long.
Right.
The anticipation was just too much. So I went about my business and didn't think about it anymore. However, in June 2021, my sister Yolanda called me and she said, hey, Starr, I found a lump in my breast. And I initially put it off. I was like, oh, it's probably nothing. I didn't know many people affected by breast cancer. Breast cancer wasn't a part of my world at that time.
Sure.
So I thought, oh, it's nothing. It's probably just some fatty tissue or, I didn't think much about it. Well, she went and got checked and she told me that she had stage 4 triple negative breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So triple negative breast cancer is the worst breast cancer you could have. It currently has no cure.
Really? Okay.
It had spread to her liver as well.
Oh.
Wow.
So the doctors basically told us she'll be on treatments and trials until it stops working, then you start another one. It's just to prolong your life.
Okay.
They basically said she was going to pass away at some point. So being with her, she then informed me on my father's side, we had a strong history of breast cancer. My grandma, her 4 sisters, they all had cancer. So with that knowledge, I went back to my doctor and I said, hey, my sister has stage 4 cancer. My family history is showing cancer that I didn't know about before. And my doctor said, I want you to get another mammogram.
Yes. Okay.
Now, mind you, it's only been a year since I had a mammogram.
Of course.
So I was then I went and got one. I didn't wait this time. In December of 21, this is a year later, I got a mammogram. Christmas Eve of December 21, I got a call saying I had cancer.
Wow.
Yes.
Whoa.
Can you imagine? So it kind of just makes me wonder how accurate that first test was.
Right.
Because
Like-
within that time, and I get
In the
it,
same year.
it can
correct?
happen. It can happen at any time. I do understand that because I know other people that have had situations like that where they got tested and then where they stay on top of their testing annually. And then it's like immediately in the next test they discover something. So that always just, creates a question in the back of my mind. That is so quick. But thankfully that you
Yes.
went in, thankfully that you had that
Gosh,
information,
yes.
that you had that family history and that you were able to act on it because that's absolutely important. But anyway, go on. I just wanted to.
Yes. So Fortunately, since I acted upon it, my cancer was caught super early. It was a stage 1 cancer. It was called, they call it ERPR. It's driven by estrogen in your body.
Yep.
So they told me, they used the term, I'm the lucky one because I had the curable cancer.
Right.
And at the time, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't feel lucky. I didn't feel lucky at all. My sister's, going through cancer that I know is gonna take her life at some point, and now I'm going through cancer. So I was able to bypass chemotherapy because they caught it so early.
Right.
So I, in a sense, I was the lucky one, but at the time I wasn't realizing it.
Yeah.
Because you're in this whirlwind of appointments, calls, labs,
Sure.
Yeah.
all these things. So what happened to me was I did 20 sessions of radiation. So I went to radiation 5 days a week.
Sure.
And then I now take a medicine for 5 years. It's called tamoxifen.
Yep.
It suppresses estrogen in your body.
Got it. Yep.
So the very thing that makes me a woman, estrogen, is trying to kill me. So I have to suppress it.
But and this is an area where I want to just interject really, really quickly, because I think, and as you move forward and knowing that you've had that diagnosis and dealing with the impact of estrogen, I think it's important for women to understand other things that are lifestyles, where we have things that we either put on our bodies that mimic estrogen that can create problems and create cancer. This is why I am so huge on scanning your products that you are using on your body, that that cream that you've been using for 20 years that you just lather all up and you look at the back of it, you're not paying attention to the ingredients. Half of that stuff is horrific for your body over time. You're just putting all this stuff on. And there's 2 apps, and I'm going to put this in the notes for today's episode, but there are 2 apps that I recommend women to use to scan all your beauty products, because you just want to know what category they are listed at. And this is by the Environmental Working Group, I think is the name of one of the organizations that founded one of the apps, where you can go in and scan your beauty products just to see what level of harm they are for your body. And it's a scale that they put them under. And it's kind of like where you see if it's one like a 1, just throw it away.
Yeah.
Right.
Period.
It's the least.
Period. Because it's not doing anything for you. But anyway, I think that's so important to mention, and in his story about estrogen, that's so critical. But anyway, I'll let you go. Anything else you want to add there? That just gives me chills, because I think about that situation and how much we have our favorites, whether it be a perfume, a cologne, and all of this stuff. And it's like, oh my God, I've worn it for years. And okay, do you know what's in that?
Heartbreaking at the end.
That
so
you're,
used to it.
and then it gets worse as we get older.
I definitely had to make a lot of lifestyle changes. I basically, for instance, deodorant, aluminum-free deodorant.
Yes, that's another huge one.
Right. You have to be more aware of, like you said, what you put in your body. It does harm you. All these chemicals and dyes and
detergent is huge too.
So, but I did have to turn around and make some changes in my life, and that was just me being more aware of what was going on with my body.
Sure, yeah. I think, and you kind of already talked about this somewhat, but share with everyone, what was the hardest part of this journey for you, physically, emotionally, or even spiritually? And how did you find the strength to keep going through it all?
I would say the hardest part of my journey was while I was battling breast cancer, I had to be there for my sister. I was battling and at some point became recovering and starting to get back to my normal life while my sister was passing away, basically. My sister, Yolanda, unfortunately passed away in December of 23 of breast cancer.
So sorry to hear that.
So while I'm taking her to surgeries and doctor's visits, I'm also trying to go through my treatments. Another hard thing was you guys see I'm a police officer.
Absolutely.
I'm the person everyone comes to for help. I'm the person who handles all the business. I had to transition to the person who needed help. And that was hard for me, asking someone for help. It was very difficult. I think as women, we put ourselves last a lot of times.
Absolutely.
And I had to say, no, I have to prioritize
Absolutely.
my own health. Because if I'm not here, then none of these people can, benefit from me. So I have to be my best self, my strongest self, my healthiest self. So I had to turn around and prioritize me. And that was difficult for me because I'm so used to putting the kids first, the job first, the family first. And I had to turn around and say, no, I have to take the time and put me first.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking about, having a history of that with your family.
Yeah.
And you have kids. What do you have a daughter?
I have 2 daughters. So the doctor did say because of the family history, my daughters would have to be screened earlier.
Of course.
At 40 is when you're expected to take your first mammogram. That's what the doctor informed me. So they will be needing screenings earlier than that.
Yeah. And we kind of talked about that briefly in the first episode because, and honestly, depending on who your doctor is, because I didn't have a history of breast cancer in my family, but my doctor was such a humongous advocate.
Yeah.
She's like, we're just going to write it, okay, and get it done.
Yeah.
And I think I was
safe.
probably on the latter end of, I was probably like 37-ish, 38, and my insurance covered it. So they didn't, they didn't push it back like, she's not old enough. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
surprisingly, they did it, and I'm like, well, if she's gonna do the mammogram, and I'm like, forget it, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. If she's advocating for it because she felt like it's happening earlier, and then being a woman of color, that it hits us at higher risk, she felt let's just do it anyway. So it's even better when you have, your advocates, your healthcare, and your physicians, your primary care, not primary care, but it could be a primary care, but your gynecologist is on board also to help advocate and get you that screening sooner. But that's just so impactful, and just thinking about the journey that now your daughters are going to have to go through, and educating them on kind of what's going on. How old are they?
10 and 13. Yes. So what you mentioned women of color. What I also learned is women of color are more likely to have dense breast tissue. So the mammogram has a hard time seeing through that tissue.
Absolutely.
So like me, I had to get a mammogram and an ultrasound and an MRI. So
Yes.
because my tissue is extremely dense. So keep that in mind when you go get your mammogram. You might have to get additional testing. And don't be scared about that. It's just women of color more likely have dense breast tissue.
Yeah, and we talked
I
about
think
that.
the fear.
Yes, and
the
we
fear
talked about
part
that.
is where blocks them from getting further testing.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
And and then like you think that you are good, but when the test results come back, it's like, oh.
And it's to her point, and we kind of talked about that in last week's episode, because obviously me having denser breast tissue, it was such a and I felt like, and I said this earlier, because I, on my journey, I had lost well over 100 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So I felt like my situation, my boobs got more denser as I lost the weight. Because I'm like, what? Because I'm like, what do you mean? Because I didn't feel like I had to go through all of that prior.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh yeah, something suspicious. And of course, I'm a nervous wreck because I'm like, what are
You come
please?
out of there all,
Yes, and I'm praying. I'm
Right.
like, God, please.
The unexpected.
I don't want to deal with this. What is the suspiciousness?
Yep.
And of course, you don't want to alarm people. I'm not calling my mom. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not doing all that because she would be worried every day until I actually go to doctor. But to your point, yes. So now you have all of this apprehension. You have the nerves jumping in, and you're like,
a nervous wreck.
right? And then I can see where some people are
Yes.
like, you know what? I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to go.
Then
I don't want to deal.
Then you
Right.
block it, and then
Correct.
I think a lot of people are scared because they don't have the knowledge behind it.
Absolutely.
When you don't have the knowledge, it kind of creates chaos in your mind. So during my process, my doctor, her name was Dr. Warrett, she's retired now, but she was a fantastic doctor. She gave me the tools of education. She sat me down and was like, this is your cancer, this is your sister's cancer, and kind of compared them and explained them. And it was very helpful. It helped kind of ease my burdens a little bit. But I think a lot of women don't have that education piece, and it makes them nervous and scared.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's just such an. I'm feeling my heart for this situation, because hearing that, number one, is hard enough, but then hearing that now you have to be on alert, like every time. You can't. It's like you can't miss a beat on going to the doctor.
Yeah, you can't.
Every
You can't.
year.
I go every 6 months.
And I was going to say that
yes.
they move up because I'd imagine it'd have to be every 6 months now, since you've had that diagnosis.
So every 6 months, I see my oncologist, and I either get a mammogram or an MRI. It switches off, and I have to do this for 5 straight years.
Wow.
Yes. So every 6 months, I'm at some type of doctor doing something. That's bare minimum. I also do a lot of physical therapy.
Okay.
What people don't realize is when they take cancer out of your breast, they also take lymph nodes.
Sure.
When they take lymph nodes, that leads to other issues, swelling in areas.
Yeah.
For instance, sometimes my arm will just swell up.
Okay.
So I have a lot of people see me with a sleeve sometimes, a compression sleeve.
Yeah.
I wear a lot of compression gear under
Sure.
here. So it leads to a lot of other things. It's just not, oh, they took your cancer out, you had your, radiation, you're good now. It's still ongoing. You can't just end it and forget about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I can imagine the toll that can take mentally, psychologically, emotionally,
Yeah.
like dealing with that. And yeah, that's just. Anything else you want to add, Lynda?
You're a star. She's a survivor. That's awesome. Now, what would you wish you had known earlier?
I wish I would have known about my family history.
Yes.
That piece, that was a missing puzzle piece.
It's huge.
And, I didn't grow up with my father's side of the family. I grew up in a single mother home. So I didn't know much about that side of my family. Gathering that information basically elevated my situation. I think it's so important to know your family history.
Yeah.
You got to
Very
know
important.
that do they have diabetes, cancer, what are their health risks? Because that dictates what's going on with you.
Yeah.
All their genes are in you.
Carries on to us.
Right.
And then we want to let our children know too.
Yes.
As well, keep them informed and educated on our health history.
Yeah, it's just but I I'm like speechless on that part with just thinking about her daughters. That now she has to carry that with them. But I think that's so important, knowing the history, and a lot of times people don't share that, or we're
Right.
just so afraid
Yes.
to ask. And we could have someone in the family, about it. You just don't want to ask them questions. It could be an older person, and they're just like, And then sometimes, you have people that don't like sharing.
Yes.
They don't like to relive. They like to block it out, and it's like, oh yeah, well that was a
You
thing.
know what? That
and
is-
I
yes.
and I don't
Old
want to
school.
relive that situation. Or they just like, oh, it was a little something that wasn't really that big of a deal.
And I feel like the older generation is
Yeah.
like that now.
They
don't wanna
like to
talk
keep
about it.
things close to them
Yes, they don't wanna
instead of
revisit.
sharing, right? But that ends up causing problems
Trauma
for
to
others,
us.
right? And even people, I will say this: once I went through my breast cancer journey, I learned at my job others had went through it. But again, they kept it so close to
See.
themselves that
So what's so
that
crazy?
helped them open up. when
Yes.
they
yes,
see
like
other
then we're able
people.
to talk about it and
The
talk
comfort.
to each other. Yes.
Yep. Yes.
What I love about this is that even at the heels of an adversity, you can find community around something like that. And we need to be talking about things so much more without feeling like you in people's business.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
very personal when
It
you're
is.
talking
It is
about your
personal.
breasts.
It is.
That's very personal. But for me, if I can spread knowledge and save someone else,
Yes,
I
I
will
agree.
do it any day of the week. I will talk about my whole experience if that will help someone go get a mammogram
Yeah.
or go get checked and save their lives.
Yes.
I think we kind of talked about this, but I'll ask it just to make sure there's nothing else we want to address there. Do you feel like there's something else to be said about for women when it comes to understanding breast health, when it comes to mammograms, when it comes to self-exams, when it comes to just self-advocacy? Is there anything else you want to add there for people to speak up when you feel like something is not right?
I do want to talk about that. So we all have been told, do your monthly breast exam, and they tell you, what
Yep.
to do. But they never tell you what you're looking for. Like, what does it feel like?
Oh, yeah.
You know? So doing a monthly
that's a
breast
good one,
exam, you're like, okay, what am I doing?
It just feels like something that's off, right?
No.
So
yes.
when I got my cancer, my doctor, I said, I don't know what I'm feeling for.
Yeah.
And she put my hand on my cancer, and it felt like a tiny hard marble under my skin.
Oh.
And that's when it kind of clicked, like, oh, this is this is cancer, and this is what I'm supposed to be feeling for. But prior to that, I didn't know. I'm just pressing
And they
down.
they don't tell you either.
You don't.
Like what they tell you what to look for, but to actually hands-on
To
feel
know
it.
what it feels like.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
because you're like, is that a fatty deposit?
You just don't know. You're just like,
Because it's
okay.
lumpy already.
Listen, I was
Right.
gonna say, listen, we don't even want to get started on the
I know
lumps.
that's
On
a little
certain
too
things
much
underneath.
TMI.
But
it's
I would
real.
say if you feel anything, if it's hard, soft, if it just doesn't feel right, go see your doctor. Don't put off going to the doctor. Get checked, and get checked every year. Don't put these things off, ladies. Go to the doctor. I know. But you need to go, and once a year, get your physicals, your checkups, your blood work, and then you don't have to do it for another year, God willing.
Right.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, I think that's some really good advice. I mean, at the end of the day, that's a good point about feeling for the.
I had no idea. I was
Because
just
people just say,
blindly
"Oh, I found a lump."
pressing down.
Yeah.
That's typically what people would say: "Is I
Yeah.
found a lump." So yeah, the same thing. I'm feeling around. I'm like, okay. And then even when your doctor, when you go to your mammogram, when you do your yearly pelvic exam, your Pap smear, your doctor usually does like
Yes.
an overall
I know.
self check of your boobs just to
Violation.
see. Yeah, and they're touching everywhere. So
Violated.
you're like, okay, if they find
Walking
something,
out of there violated.
you're gonna find something. If it's they're gonna find something if they see
Yeah.
something that's off. Then and I think that's a great way
Right.
that they check it as well. Which
But don't
ladies, we
wait
should be
for
doing
that
that
year.
too.
Yes.
Exactly.
Don't wait for the year. You should be doing it every month, because look it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Within less than a year, my cancer developed.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
don't wait for your yearly checkup. Do your part
Because it was June and then that following December, right?
right. So
Wow.
It's so crazy.
That's what, 7 months? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no,
basically it was
later.
November. So I got my mammogram in November 2020, then my repeat mammogram in 21 of December.
Oh, December.
So it was
Okay.
a year
later.
and
Year
in
later.
another. Yeah.
Right.
But that's quick.
Yes.
That's very quick.
It was very unexpected. I didn't expect to go to that appointment and find out.
yeah.
Now, let me ask you this
information.
question, just for clarity's sake. So, you said that it was the very early signs. Was it at a stage yet?
Stage 1.
One.
Yes.
Yeah, I developed that quick.
Yes.
Luckily, stage 1 only.
Yeah.
And the most treatable cancer. So it was a good combination.
Yeah.
A blessing.
Yes.
Well, and the last question, I think, and it's more along the lines of your lifestyle now, and I think you kind of spoke to that somewhat there. Anything
Earlier,
else you want to add there when in terms of how it's changed your entire life, how you live, how you love, and how you care for yourself?
I will say it's changed my life oh Lord, dramatically, I have started doing self-care, putting myself first, prioritizing myself, like I said. That was not happening in the past. I was probably dead last in this situation.
Yeah.
So now I'm, making sure I work out. I try to eat properly. I don't want to be putting a bunch of fast food in my body,
Yes.
XYZ.
Yes.
I feel
Oh
a
my
lot
gosh.
better too. I have a new stance on relationships and friendships.
Tell us more.
Yes.
I know.
So everyone who sees me, they're always like, "Oh, she looks kind of mean, and they don't want to talk to me." And I'm very like back to myself. I've always been like that, but the friends and people that know me know something else.
Right.
Yeah.
And they know that I'm a very giving person. I would give you the shirt off my back. I will help you whenever you need help. But I don't think that things were ever verbalized between friends and family. So
Right.
I started just anytime I deal with someone, be like, hey, I appreciate you, or I really think you're a great friend because of XYZ, verbalizing things. I want people to know like what I think about them and how much I care about them. And it really, is, and then I asked them too, what are your thoughts about me? Like, I want us to share.
Share the.
I want relationships to grow and build and be great. And the people that I love and care about, I want them to know, like, I do care about you, and this is what's great about you.
And I think it's in your journey, you kind of are seeing that how precious life is.
Yes.
Right. And
Yes.
making
Oh
those
my
bonds
gosh, yes.
closer. And that's so amazing.
Because we take life for granted,
We do
And
every day.
she sent me a sweet message yesterday to remind me. So that was awesome. Thank you for that message.
I think we're at a wrap, but thank you so much, Starr, for joining us today
Yes, thank you
and
so
sharing
much
your
for
story.
sharing
I'm
that
sure this will
story.
be definitely change some lives. And get your mammograms,
Yes,
ladies.
get
Get
checked.
them. Make those appointments.
Make those appointments.
My chart.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, my chart, yes.
Until next time, you guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.